You know, before I get into the meat of this video, there's a few things that I need to say up front that will, of course, serve as the intro to this masterpiece. Now, I've been sitting back the last couple of weeks, and I've been noticing a trend, a very troubling trend, centering around these worshipers of white men, also known as swirlers, also known as interracial daters, or whatever the new term that they're using today. I've noticed something very troubling regarding this segment of women in that minstrel show, Black Panther. And what I've been finding, not only on YouTube, but most certainly on Facebook, on social media, is how these women actually embrace, applaud, support that movie. And I find that to be most interesting, very perplexing, once you take into consideration that the movie actually flies in the face of their talking points. Yet they find themselves not only in the movie theater watching it, but you find themselves supporting it, and you also find them making videos and making posts on Facebook. And I find that to be ironic and odd. So I took that whole situation and I put it back under the microscope and I examined it. And what I have come to find out is what I'm going to share with you in this week's installment of the Rabbit Hole Productions. Well, one of them, because I'm about to tell you what the other video is going to be in a minute, but that's one of the videos that I'm going to do. You know what it is. Second nature, breathing. Send me email, send you the link. The other video that I'm going to do centers around what I told y'all in my last video that I did last week. And some people got upset about it when I told them that there's no way in hell that I'm going to go into a movie theater with 150 to 200 of y'all and sit there watching a movie with the lights out. That ain't about to happen. That's not about to happen. Oh no, I'm straight. That's about as insane as me going over a female's house and spending the night. No, absolutely not. Not today, not no day. I stopped doing that shit a long time ago. I'm not laying here spending the night with you. I don't know who has a key to your house. I don't know if Pookie or Ray Ray made a key before they gave you back your key. And no, I'm cool. I ain't spending the night here. 60 seconds, I'm out the door. Oh, scratch that from the record. I actually thought I was in the hole. Forget that. But no, I'm not spending the night. But I'm not going to no movie theater. And the reason why is because of what I'm going to address in the second video. And you may have heard about this. The female who opened fire pulls out a pistol and shoots in the movie theater because she's not getting the seat that she thought she should have gotten about to watch this Black Panther foolishness. And I told y'all, listen, I'm not going no, that's too many of y'all. Absolutely not. It's not happening. Not today, not no day. And now y'all see why. But I'm going to address that also in the whole, because the way and the things that I have to say, obviously, has to be said in the whole. And you know what it is by now. Second nature like breathing. Send me an email, send you the link to these two videos. But let me give y'all a warning. Let me give you brothers a warning. And I tell y'all this when I think that the content is not suitable for females. And that's the case now. Do not listen to these two videos around your woman, your girlfriend, a female that you're trying to get with. a female that's mad at you, you trying to make up with her, oh, baby, I'm sorry. Don't listen to this shit around her. I'm telling you now. Now, you can be tough and think you me. And what I mean by that is, listen, I accepted my lot. I know what it is. I know that I'm going to die single and alone, and I'm cool with that. I could take them or leave them. I told y'all this. It is what it is. You put her butt naked in a bed, a box of Camacho triple Maduros, 10 times out of 10, I'm taking those sticks, and I'm going to keep it moving. That's just the way it is. That's just my mentality. Not press. I will look, but at the end of the day, I'm taking those sticks. And to see, a lot of y'all can't have that mentality because y'all have wives, y'all have girlfriends, y'all still love these women. So I understand y'all not where I'm at. So I'm telling you now, do not listen to this week's installment around your wife, your girlfriend, a chick that you trying to get with, or some chick that's mad at you and you trying to make up with, oh, baby, I'm sorry, I'd never do it again. Don't listen to these videos around her. If you do, do not blame me. Do not come back to me blaming me. Listen, man, you gave me those rabbit holes and I was listening to them driving down the street. My woman was in the car and listen, I'm telling you now, don't do that. Don't do that. You know what it is? Email, get you the link. Now, in this video here, I told you I was going to come back and I was going to address this whole piece on the Negro and why he will never control the economy in his community. But before we get to that, I'm gonna explain something to y'all. And what I come to realize about black people, well, there's a lot of things that I've come to realize about black people, but one of the reasons why I no longer engage in fussing back and forth with black people is what I've come to realize. Obviously, I told y'all I'm only going to address my intellectual equal, and y'all already know this, and whether you're on my level intellectually is my decision, not yours. But there are other reasons that I've come to realize, and it centers around what I used to do with Christians. And some of y'all probably make the same mistake. And if you listen to this video, you'll stop it because you realize it's a futility involved. And I can remember when I used to debate Christians. And I would sit there debating those Christians, and I would have 10, 15, 20 books that I'm citing. Have you read this? Check this out. Look at this. And I'm going over these books, telling them about these books, disproving what they say they believe. And they would just sit there with the Bible. And then it suddenly dawned on me that this is an exercise in futility. And the reason why this is an exercise in futility is because I was under the assumption, and some of y'all might be too. I was under the assumption when dealing with a Christian that belief equals proof. And it doesn't. And I'm going to explain that to you. I was under the assumption that since these Negroes tell me they believe this Bible, since they tell me they believe this religion, I was under the assumption that that meant they could also prove it. And they can't. And that's the reason why they would just sit there with one book, the Bible, and I would sit here with 10, 15, 20 books, and I'm going through all these books. It was an exercise in futility. Why? Because belief does not equal proof. Just because they say they believe it, they're not saying they can prove it, because they can't prove it. The only way they can prove it is by faith. You can't intellectually, scientifically explain a guy walking on water. You just can't do it. Not intellectually, not scientifically. You can't do it. But you can by faith. You can't intellectually, scientifically explain how a guy dies and in 3 days, he's walking again. You can't explain that. Not intellectually, not scientifically, but you can through faith. And it was at that point that I began to realize this is an exercise in futility. Why? I'm wasting my time because they're telling me they believe this by faith. I just believe it. They're not telling me they can prove it because we already know they can't. And that's the reason why I backed off. I'm done. Done. I don't do it no more. I'm not sitting around wasting my time debating no Christian over the Bible. Waste of time. I had to learn that the hard way. And it's the same with you Negroes. Because the Christian ain't going to do no research. They're only going to stay right there with that Bible. And again, the only way that you can even begin to accept this is by faith. Because scientifically, intellectually, you can't prove that stuff. And remember now, if you understand European history, what took place when individuals tried to intellectually, scientifically prove the Bible? What happened? Your inquisitions is what happened. Catholicism tortured those individuals, accused them of teaching heresy, called them heretics. And they suffered for their belief, for trying to disprove this Bible. That was the age of faith versus reason. So the only way that they're going to be able to have any conversation about that Bible is by faith, because that's the only way any of that shit makes sense. And that's the reason why I packed up my shit and said, I'm done. Not doing it no more. And it's the same with this Negro. He's not going to do any research. You're wasting your time talking to him. This is the reason why I don't. I have people who will leave comments in my comment thread that has absolutely nothing to do with the video. Absolutely nothing. I have people who have made response videos to me, and they can't properly recite what I'm saying. So they say what they think I'm saying. And there's people in their comment thread saying, listen, that's not what he was saying. So I don't even waste no time. I just let it go, let y'all believe what y'all want to believe. All I can do is sit it in your lap. That's all I can do. I am not wasting my time debating, arguing, and fussing with you Negroes. It's just not going to happen. It's an exercise in futility. Because the Negro, he's not going to do research, particularly the Negro Christian. It's just not. That's the reason why I said I packed up. I stopped doing it. I don't debate with them. I don't fuss with them. They can't bait me and get me into any kind of discussion. No, because I realize that, it's an exercise in futility. It's a waste of time. The other thing that I realize is that there's something wrong with the way y'all think. There's something wrong with y'all's thinking processes. This is what I've come to realize. I'm telling you, through studying you Negroes, putting y'all under that microscope, examining y'all, this is what I've come to realize. There's something wrong. That elevator don't go all the way to the top. The lights are on, but ain't nobody home. I mean, as I told y'all, the brightest bulb on the tree, the sharpest knife in the drawer, it's just not. Listen, there is something seriously wrong with y'all's ability to think and reason. It really is. And it makes no sense. When you look at the Negro logic in the things that they do, it absolutely makes no sense. And I know y'all wondering, what does that have to do with the Negro controlling the economy in his community? Well, I'm laying the foundation for you. Can't lay the foundation with that going off. Okay. Back to my point. I'm laying the foundation for you. I'm laying the foundation, and I'm letting y'all know why this is what it is. And when you deal with this Negro, because I know there are going to be individuals who are going to disagree. And I don't have time to debate this shit. I ain't got time to sit down and argue back and forth with you Negroes, because I understand that half of y'all are not going to do y'all research. Y'all going to pop y'all gums and y'all don't know what y'all talking about. one of the reasons why when I would do my videos on Martin Luther King, I've read and done extensive research on Dr. King. Extensive research. That I document. That I give y'all the sources. And when I do my videos on why I still oppose Martin Luther King Day, here come this nigga. I mean, oh. Here come this brother wanting to argue with me, and he has done no research. And the reason why I only engage my intellectual equals is because my intellectual equal understands that if I do a video and I give you 5 sources, my intellectual equal understands that if I'm going to disagree with his video, I at least have to give him 5 sources. That's just fair. Now, the Negro who just want to pop his gums, he's going to just tell me what grandmama and them told him, what he heard, nothing he's researched, nothing he studied, because they don't study and they don't do research. That's the reason why it is an exercise in futility dealing with them. But there's something wrong with their thinking. And that centers around something that my father, and I've shared this in other videos. Something that he would always tell me and my brothers, and he never explained it. He would just say it. At different times, he would tell us. And I shared this with y'all in a video. I'm going to share it again here. What he would say about black people. And he would tell me and my brothers, listen, whenever you deal with Negro, now he didn't say Negroes, he said niggas. Whenever you deal with niggas, there's one thing you have to always remember. And that is, to this nigga, the white man's ice is always colder. He would never explain that. He would say it just like that and leave it. And me and my brothers would be trying to figure out, because we were young, what is he talking about? Ice is ice. And I'm sitting there, we going back and forth trying to, he would never explain. We would beg him, hey, explain that. What do you mean? What do you mean? He would never explain it. But at different times, he would tell us, remember what I told you. When you deal with niggas, the white man's ice is always colder. And I never understood exactly what he meant until I became an adult and started dealing with y'all. Once I started dealing with y'all, it hit me like an epiphany. The light bulb went off. I know exactly what he's talking about. Oh yeah, I got it now. I understand now exactly. All those years he would say that and he would never explain it. Because I think he understood that. Okay, just keep living. You'll find out. I'm not going to tell you. You're going to find out on your own. When you deal with this nigga, the white man's ice is always colder. Never would explain it. But after dealing with y'all, I see exactly what he was saying. And this ties into y'all's thinking. There's something wrong with this Negro's mind. And when you look at this meme, because I didn't really go into the meme in the last video, but I'm going to go into this video. And it's going to tie into everything that I just told you. And what lets you know that there's something wrong here is when you look at this Negro and look at the scenario. Now, the Negro wants a hot dog. He wants a Frankfurter. He wants a Hebrew National. He wants a ballpark Frank, whatever it is he wants. He wants a hot dog. He walks into the white man's shop. White man say, hey, listen, man, my hot dogs are $3.75. That Negro will reach in his pocket, pay that $3.75 with a smile on his face. Likewise, he go to the Arab. I want a hot dog. Arab told him, listen, my hot dogs are $3.75. that Negro will reach in his pocket, pay that $3.75, and leave him a tip. He go to the Asian man. Asian guy tell him, listen, man, my hot dogs are $3.75. He reaches in his pocket, asks for 2 Cokes, pays the price. He walks into the black man's store. The black man tells him, my hot dogs are the same price as everybody else. It is only at that point that this Negro will all of a sudden develop an attitude over paying $3.75 for a hot dog. How you explain that? How you explain that? Nobody else got a lip. Nobody else got a gripe. Nobody else got any kind of back talk. The only person who's going to get that back talk in that lip is a black establishment. And y'all wonder why you can't have black stores in black communities owned by black people. For one, you niggas, scratch that from the record. For one, you African Americans aren't going to support them. For two, y'all going to go in those stores looking for a hookup. Now, the dude is in business, guy. He's in business to turn a profit. He's not doing this for his health. He's doing it to make money. It's a business. He has employees to pay. If he doesn't own his building, he has rent to pay. He has insurance. So he cannot pay all of that giving you a hookup. But the Negro, I'm telling you, there's something wrong with his thinking. There's something wrong with the way he thinks. The Negro will only go to that black business and ask for a hookup. Give it to me half price. Oh, you charging too. Now keep in mind, now he's charging the same thing as everybody else. You done bought 3 hot dogs from an Asian guy, the Arab guy, the white man, and they charge the same price. You only have a problem when you get it from a black man. And once I started seeing y'all in action, it was at that point that I understood what my father meant by to this Negro, or excuse me, to this nigger. The white man's ice is always colder. His hot dogs are just a little bit better. There's just something about his hot dog. Well, wait a minute, he's using the same hot dogs that I'm using. He's using the same bun. He has the same condiments. He cooks them in the same temperature. They're the same hot dogs. No, it's just something about his hot dog. You know what? This black man can actually go to that white man and tell him, hey, listen, I want 10 of your hot dogs. Okay, I ain't got no problem with you. You want 10 of them? I'm going to sell you 10 of them. And that black man can take those 10 hot dogs from the white man, put them in his case, and here come Bubba, Leroy, and Skillet. Now, they don't know that this is the same hot dogs from the white man. And that Negro can sell those hot dogs to those Negroes. And they'll complain about it. Hey, man, something about your hot dog, man. I don't know what it is. And I don't like your hot dog. I'm going across the street. And go across the street to this white man. Get the same hot dogs. Get the same hot dog. And the Negro, oh, there's something about them hot dogs from that white man, bro. Them things are good. To this nigga, his ice is always colder. I didn't understand it until I became an adult and started dealing with y'all. And I find out there's not only something wrong with the way y'all think, y'all have an ability to gravitate towards individuals who absolutely have no respect for you. Y'all love that. Because if the Negro was to walk into that Arab man's shop and ask that Arab for that hot dog and give me a hookup, you know what that Arab gonna tell him? Get your black ass out my store. Now, listen. Listen, keep in mind now that his store is located in this Negro's community. That Negro walked past that same building walking to school for 12 years. Well, not for 12 years because he probably flunked. So let's say for 14 years, but that's a subject for another video. For 12 years, he walked past that store. And now the Arab got here yesterday. Opens up a hot dog shop in that same building in his hood that he's walked past for the last 14 years. And when he goes into that Arab man's shop and asks that Arab man, like he asked this Negro, can I get a hookup? Your prices are too high. That Arab is going to tell him, get your black ass out of my store. And then, hold on, that ain't the end of it. That Arab can tell that Negro that at 8 o'clock in the morning. Do you know by noon, that Negro will be back in that store trying to give that Arab more of his money? There's something wrong with the way you people think. There's something wrong with y'all. This is what I've come to understand. You can't sit back and expect black people to have businesses that are respected and supported by black people when black people are always going in these establishments looking for a fucking hookup. They want it for nothing. They want it for free. This is black people. Now, and keep in mind now, the only person that they want it for free from is the Negro. He ain't asking it for free from that Arab. He ain't asking for free from that white man. You know damn well he ain't asking for free from no Jew. He ain't going to that Korean guy. He ain't going to anybody else looking for a hookup. The only person that he's going to go and look for something for nothing is the black man. They have the mindset. They want something for nothing. They want it free. This is their mindset. And if you charge them, they will have a problem with that, even though everybody else is charging them. Everybody else is telling them what the price of this hot dog is, and that Negro does not have a problem paying that price. He pays it with a smile on his face, don't mind that they're making money off of him. The only person that he has a problem if they make money off of him, this is the only person, is somebody black. And that is the reason why you Negroes, it's never going to happen. It's never going, as long as you Negroes have the thinking that y'all have. And what I'm going to tell you something else, and I know that y'all going to get offended by this, but I don't care. I'm really leaning towards the curse of Ham being real. I mean, I'm really leaning towards this whole curse piece because I'm really trying to figure out, why do you Negroes think the way y'all think? And I'm really leaning towards the fact that y'all have been cursed. Y'all are cursed people. Because it just makes no sense. There's no other way you can explain this. There's no other way you can rationalize how you have on YouTube. And this is what you got on YouTube. You got on YouTube a bunch of niggas who will sit back and complain if other black YouTubers are making money from their channels or making money from their videos. They got a problem with that. They don't like that. But keep in mind now that everybody does this. If you build an audience and you build a platform, this is what everybody does. That's one of the reasons why you do it. The whole concept of pay-per-view videos, you can do that right here on YouTube. But if you do that, the Negro has a problem with that. Why? Because he wants everything for free. And I told y'all in my last video, this is the plight of the Negro intellectual. Because the Negro intellectual can put forth his intellectualism, be it in the form of a book, in the form of a seminar, in the form of a paper, in the form of video. No matter what he puts forth in all of his intellectual work, the Negro wants that shit for free. He don't want to pay for it. Now, the Arab, the white man, the Asian man, any man, they put forth their shit in charge, the Negro will pay for it with a smile on his face. The only person that he has a problem paying for that from is somebody of their own kith and kin. They have a problem with that. As I told y'all, there's something wrong with y'all thinking. You have these Negroes on YouTube who sit back and make videos complaining as if this is the major problem that the race faces. Somebody setting up a YouTube channel and charging for their videos. They got a problem with that. They're a fraud if they do that. But the Negro doesn't have a problem. See, this is where I told y'all, that thinking, that curse, this is where it is manifest. The Negro will complain if YouTuber Y sets up his channel, makes his videos, and the people who like his content want to contribute to him. The Negro got a problem with that. He got a problem with that, even though, keep in mind, everybody else is doing it. But what the Negro doesn't have a problem with is that the Arab, the Korean, the Asian, the white man, most certainly the Jew, will ride into his community with an empty sack of money at the beginning of the day. And leave that, wait a minute, scratch. Let me back up. We got to back up. How could I even let that pass? I mean, I'm slipping. The Negro doesn't have a problem if the Arab, the white man, the Jew, the Korean, the black pastor rides into his community with an empty sack of money at the beginning of the day. At the end of the business day, those same individuals ride out of that community with that sack of money filled with their money. And the Negro don't have a problem with that. He's cool with that. And the reason why we have to conclude that he's cool with that is because he doesn't make videos about that. But now he will make videos about YouTuber Y, doing what is legal, what everybody does. They have a problem with that, but not these individuals who are exploiting their own community. And do y'all begin to understand why I say there's something wrong with the way y'all think? There's something really serious. There's some evidence surrounding this curse, because that is the only way that you can begin to make heads or tails of this Negro, and his thinking is fucked up. And if you think about it like this. I'll put it another way, in case you still haven't gotten it. I'll put it to you like this. What happened to the black press? Because you remember there was a time in this country where you had a lot of black newspapers. All over the country, you had black newspapers. You don't anymore. And this was long before the advent of the internet, where most of these newspapers are online. You can just go online and read them. So getting a literal paper delivered to you, that's obsolete. They put everything online. But before then, you still had black newspapers. What happened to the black press? Well, number one, y'all didn't support it. Y'all didn't support y'all's own press. Now, this is your newspaper. This is your vehicle. This is the instrument that you use to tell your story. So since the other publications don't cover your shit, then you have your own press that will cover it. But y'all didn't support your own press. So what happened? Those newspapers became overly dependent on advertising. They stayed afloat via advertising, because if y'all wasn't supporting, y'all wasn't buying the paper, y'all weren't supporting the paper. So the only way they kept their doors open was putting all these ads in their paper. Once those ads dried up, guess what happened to the paper? The paper dries up. That's the death of your black press. It died because you didn't support it. And then you Negroes want to run around and complain about whatever vehicle you can name the newspaper in your local community that doesn't cover your story. Well, you had a black press, but you didn't support it. This is what y'all do. Y'all don't support your own. Y'all don't have that mindset. And the reason why y'all didn't support that black press is because 9 chances out of 10, y'all probably wanted them to give it to you for nothing. You Negroes have a problem paying black people for stuff. This is the reason why if you have a business, if you have any kind of women who do hair, women who sew, you do any kind of contract work, do not work for these Negroes, because when it comes, you can do all of the work and be done ahead of schedule. These Negroes are going to have a problem paying you if you're black. So what you do is you put an Arab or you put a white, preferably a white woman. If you're dealing with a Negro, then you put that white woman up front as your front person. And that Negro will not only pay, he will give a tip. Because that's black people. That's their mentality. I'm telling you, there's something wrong with the way they think. And this is why they will never, it's not going to happen. They will never control the economy in their own community because they will never, ever support black-owned, black-ran businesses. They just won't do it. Because in the mindset of this Negro, the white man's ice is always colder. And that reminds me of a poem that I'm going to close this video with. It's a good poem. I wish I had written it, but I didn't. I can't take credit for it, but it's a good poem. And it goes like this. Coon, coon. Black baboon, brutal, worthless, thieving goon. Often high, he thrives in jail. His welfare check is in the mail. Some 40 offspring has he had. Not one will ever call him dad. And yet he hollers day and night. I blame the white man for my plight. At the end of the day,